Okay, got
Yeah.
you. Oh, shoot.
All right, here we go. So one of the hardest habits to start, but most beneficial, is task management. Once you get your tasks under control, that's when you own your role like a boss. So we're going to do this little tech talk in a Q&A style, so it's very relevant. I used to be a client service coordinator for an estate planning law firm, and Beth used to be a director of operations. So I'm going to ask, as a CSC, to my director of operations some questions like I'm a struggling CSC. So we're in a little just meeting. We're sitting in our office and I'm stressed beyond belief. And we're going to talk about task management. All right. So what is task management from a director of operations standpoint?
Okay. That is being able to control your task and get them completed and setting yourself up with success for your task. Everything is driven by task. A lot of things are driven by task. So when you have that, getting those completed on time and making sure that you're not leaving at the end of the day with 100 tasks undone, because if you do that, it just keeps piling up. So that is your task management, is making sure you control your work, and it's time management for you.
Okay. So I'm feeling like I'm stressed out. What is the best way for me to start managing my tasks and attacking mounds of old tasks?
So the best way to do that is actually to do some sorting, some looking, and this comes down to what tech you're using. But really, to get a handle on that, you need to get a look at what the big picture is. Because a lot of times you can look at and you'll have 300 overdue tasks. Well, what are those 300 tasks? Are some of them done that you just didn't mark off? Are some of them, follow-ups that you need to schedule and get and make time to do them? It's really getting that big picture first and looking at them and seeing what they are, and not addressing them as three individual things, but looking at what that big picture is and being able to prioritize those.
Yeah,
Okay.
I noticed too when I'm scheduling tasks, depending on what time of day, I just have all these red ones, and then I notice I have a whole page of them. So I guess I need to set them for 8 a.m. so they all, I don't know. I'm noticing that.
I'm going to go over that with you a really great way, because red doesn't mean bad. And
Okay.
I'm going to show you that.
So I have like all these 10 on the 10th. I have a lot of them. I have a lot more than I thought I did. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
was
I'm
like,
going to
oh,
do a
I,
little demo after this
okay.
for everybody. And it's going to show you that red doesn't necessarily mean bad. It's just how you're looking at them. And I'm going to show you the best way to look at those.
Okay.
All right, now we'll shake back into my CSC role, talking to my director of operations. What happens if I don't do anything with my tasks? If I don't manage them, what happens?
Well, a couple things can happen, but one for sure is it affects everyone in your office. It is self-sabotage to you, because they just keep adding up. They don't just resolve themselves. And it also hurts your coworkers. So an example of that is, for one, if you have follow-ups. So you're supposed to be calling this person to get them to schedule. If you're not doing that, first of all, that's revenue that's just left on the table, and it's just hanging out there. And if you have a task that is dependent on somebody else, for example, if you have tasks to move someone on after a design meeting, talking estate planning, you have a design meeting and your task is to move them on to the drafting step after that design meeting. If you let that sit for 5 days, now your drafter is 5 days behind because you didn't do your task and do what you were supposed to do. So it doesn't only hurt you and cause extra stress on you, and you see that red number of all these tasks, it actually can sabotage the workflow through the office. So that's very important to be able to make sure that stuff gets taken care of.
Okay. So as my pretend director of operations who terrifies me every day, will you would you know if I just stop doing my tasks or I delete my tasks because I don't know what to do with them, or I'm just kind of feeling lazy that day? Would you know?
Yeah, I would. So the one way that you know this is, first of all, things aren't getting done. So if you're just deleting tasks and they're hanging out there, things aren't being done. If you've deleted that task after a design meeting to move it to the next step and didn't move it, yeah, we're going to know that because the drafter is going to go, hey, I see this signing on the schedule for tomorrow and I haven't drafted that. What's going on? That's a big problem. And it's really easy to go back in and see what happened to them. Any of the systems really do keep track of it, some of them a little better than others, but you can see when somebody deletes a task. So in reality, if you're deleting tasks, you're sabotaging yourself, your office, everything. And if you are marking them as complete and not doing them, then you're lying about it in reality because you're saying you did something that you did not do. Yes,
Okay.
and we will know.
And I'm going to step out of the role for a second. I'm going to show you that that is actually logged in ActionStep, and it is viewable. All right, back to my role. How many tasks should I have at the end of the day?
I had 0
The goal
yesterday.
is 0.
Yeah, I worked on my task yesterday and I have a lot today. So, yeah.
The goal is always 0. That's the goal. Now that
Well,
may not.
yeah, and I think that most
Things
of
may
them,
happen.
yeah, and we're going to texting and we're going to email and we're going to call. So like one day I will call, one day I will text, one day I'll email. So if it's set up that
Correct.
way, right, it should be pretty
Yep.
simple. Like I don't have to make a call every day, but
Correct.
it's a
Right.
touch
So
every each
yeah.
day.
Excuse me. Wow. So yes, your goal is always going to be 0, but at the end of, I mean, some things happen. You just need to have a plan to address the ones that aren't 0 at the end of the day, and get those back under control and make sure that's going to be taken care of.
Yeah, definitely in my role, it needs to be a 0 because I have a lot of follow-up and it needs to be touched every day. A
Right.
new lead.
Yep,
Yeah. So
absolutely.
yeah, it has to be touched either by texting, email, or a call, and it has to be daily. So mine have to be to 0, and my role, I
Yeah.
feel.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Otherwise, it's
back in
gonna
my
fall behind.
CSC role, do my
Mhm.
tasks affect excellent customer service?
Yes.
Yes, they do. Because when you have your customer service, when you are a client services coordinator, you are the one that's doing that. So a lot of times, especially if you're using the PCM, the workflow, and things like that, those tasks are in there on specific time frames, things like that. And some of them are contacts back with the customer within 24 hours, within 48 hours, whatever. So you want to make sure that that is being done in that time frame. And in addition to that, if I have set up follow-ups for you that you need to call them 3 days after, 5 days after, 10 days after, 15 days after. That's set up based on years of experience, not from me, but from others, of what that looks like and what we need, what the best approach is for follow-up. So those are in there for a reason. If they're not being done in that time frame and you're waiting 3 weeks before you start their follow-up, yeah, they've already moved on. They've either decided they're not going to do it anyway, or they've gone and found another attorney to do what they need. And a lot of times that is what it is. It is following up with them and making sure they have those personal touches. So yes, it absolutely affects customer service when you're not completing the task, especially your follow-up task. Yep.
Okay, so is there cash on the table then for me messing around with my tasks? Does it affect cash flow?
Yes, because you're going to all of those follow-ups and things in there. Even after they're
Oh,
engaged with you and they are now a client. Even after that, you're still going to need to schedule things for them, need to follow up with them, need to all of that stuff. And you don't want them to have poor customer service and then decide, oh, we're not going to go through with this and pull it. And so it doesn't stop just necessarily when they're engaged, but especially in that pre-engagement process, think of every potential client as a pile of money sitting on the table.
okay. The last question is, I feel so buried, and I'm going to say a lot of client services feel this. So, and we've seen client services come to us. So I'm stepping out of my role for a second. They're in tears. They want to punch walls. They don't want to come to work anymore. So I feel so buried and I just don't know how to dig myself out. How do I dig myself out in a way that doesn't cause more stress?
And that's where the managing your task and being able to move them around is. So, John, are you going to show that in actionstep?
Yep, I'm going to bring that up. And while I'm bringing that up,
Yeah.
can you give an example as a consultant, some extreme cash flow loss example that we've seen in law firms for not doing tasks or messing with them?
Right. So, yeah, there's been some pretty extreme examples. First of all, if you have a firm that if you just generally guess at about how much your revenue is per client, and say we say that's $2,000. We have actually helped some people that had they had 300 matters that the follow-up tasks were not being done and they were months behind. So $300 or 300 of them at $2,000 a piece, that's a lot of money sitting on the table. It's a lot of it. And a lot of those they lost because they didn't follow up with them and they just went on and did something else. So that is always that's always a big concern. And when you run a report and you come up and you find 480 some matters with no task, why? Like, there's 400 and some matters out there that things aren't being done in the time frame that they should be done. And so that's always very concerning, and that is a lot of money sitting on the table. We also know of one firm that was what was it, John? It was like $75 short of their yearly goal.
$14.
$14 short of their yearly goal. $14. That's all. They would have hit
And
their goal for the year
it
of
was
revenue.
actually bigger than that. It was $14 short of their first $1 million year.
Yes. And they missed that because their tasks were so far behind and they had like 20 matters that weren't being followed up on. And of those 20 matters, when they followed up with them the next week after their year was up and they could no longer meet that goal, a couple of those engaged. If they would have followed up on them when they were supposed to, which was weeks before that, that revenue would have went in there and they would have blown their goal out of the water, and they didn't. So yeah, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to just show you some tools to help you with task management. I'm going to show you ActionStep. Beth's going to show you Lawmatics. Again, I'm going to tell you that Clio is coming. I have a call with Clio coming to get our account reactivated. And then we'll start doing some Clio stuff in here. Though, if you have Clio and you want some support, let us know. You can set up a discovery with us, and we can support you in Clio as well. So the first thing I want to show you is looking at the tasks or looking what you've done that's recorded and you can't delete it. So in every matter, it's okay for you to know this. System notes, this is just a log under file notes, system notes. You can see everything that's been done and who did it. So if somebody in your firm is deleting tasks, reassigning, moving, you can see it. And some of it's totally fine. Reassigning tasks to somebody that it's not yours, totally fine. The big thing we see here is when tasks are being deleted, we can see who's doing it, time frames, things like that. And so can your firm, and so can you, to see, why aren't these tasks coming to me? Go glance at this. And then you can go talk to that person and get the situation solved. It might be an accident, it may be on purpose. We call that sabotaging the firm. But address it. And you can see that right here and see what everybody's doing. So let me give you an example. Like
So
right here. Oh, go ahead.
no, that's okay, because I have been deleting tests because if I have to move a step because it's incorrect, I have to delete those tests to move it step because the steps were incorrect. Is that different?
That's different. So if
Okay.
I'm moving a
Yes, that's
step,
different.
a really great example of that is if I go to steps and I'm sitting on design meeting, but I really need to be on engaged
Yeah,
and I need to go back. I'm not going to put, I need to go backwards to get back to this. If I click on this and it populates the engaged, to me, this is just grabbing a step to get somewhere. Delete those tasks. You don't, that's not even
right.
something you're trying to do.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's fine. We
Yeah,
just
we're
say
still
that.
trying to get our steps down and getting everybody trained on what step to move it on and then and figuring out all these tasks underneath the steps, where they're going and who's doing them and how it all affects everybody, you know.
Absolutely.
After a
Yep.
meeting, you gotta change the step, and some of those are not coming to me. I had some on intro call, which is how I was trained, but they're changing things. So everything is a consultation. I was like, why are they not the same tasks on intro
Mhm.
call as a consultation? So I'm changing everything. I'm like, that's not right. So
You know
like,
what?
and
Bring
then
those up,
there's
write those problems down, and bring that
I,
up with Beth in your Let's Chat meeting, and she can adjust some of that for
Yeah.
you where it'll be
yeah.
automatic.
Yeah,
So,
I'm just seeing a lot of that. And then I just saw today the emails, what they're telling you to follow up. There's not letters for like follow up one, number one. What letter is that? You know, so that's I don't know who does
sure.
that, but
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
bring
Yep,
that
just
up
we'll
with
go
Beth.
over that.
okay, okay,
Yep, we'll go over that for you.
okay.
Perfect. That was a
Yep.
great example of, we always say deleting is not your friend unless absolutely mandatory. Backtracking a step to go to a proper step,
Right.
if it's in the wrong place, that's okay to delete. Another good example of being okay to delete, I'm going to show you task management in a second, but this really is task management. So let's say here, let's say all of these are not read, they're to do. And I called on follow up number 2, and they either gave me a yes, they registered, or a hard no, don't ever call me. Well, obviously, you don't want this follow up 3 and this final letter
Right.
because you already got the answer. These are okay to delete because you're not going to do them.
Right.
You already got your answer.
Right.
So that's a good example of when it's okay to delete.
So like they reschedule and you have them on a reschedule and they have all these emails sitting there. You're gonna change the step and delete those because you're moving it to now they've
Yep.
scheduled a
Correct.
consultation. Okay.
Yep. Exactly.
Yes.
There
Yeah.
you go. So that is when it is okay to delete. Otherwise, you just need to do the tasks. If it's not yours, it's okay to reassign as long as you are 100% sure without a doubt of whose it is. Otherwise, find that out and then reassign. Because we've seen people that just sit there and reassign tasks, and the other person is like, why am I getting all this? You're just loading your work off on me.
hmm
So just be smart about that.
Now,
Now,
if someone put in a lead, sorry, I'm stopping
no,
you
go ahead.
there with reassigning leads, just as it's in my head, because like someone before me set the everything up. I would reassign all of those tasks because if I change a step, it goes to that old person. Does that make sense? So I
Yeah,
never get
bring
them.
that up with Beth too. We can fix that.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of this is because you're
Yep.
new.
Yeah,
And so some of it just needs a little adjustment to make
I,
sure it's working correctly for you.
okay. Yeah, I noticed it
Yeah.
yesterday. I was like, that didn't even go to me. It's like, that's why I missed it. Because
Yeah.
someone else put the lead in and I'm following up with it. And so all the tasks go to that person. I guess I'm
Yeah.
learning.
Beth can fix that in the background for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into task management and the two approaches to it. And they both play off each other. So I'm going to do action step first. So the one thing I always do is I go to my tasks, incomplete, and I always open it in everything in a new tab because I don't like it overriding what I'm looking at. That's just me. But so here's incomplete tasks for, I'm going to hit clear filter. This is all the tasks completed, incompleted, everything in the system. So the very first time I come into here, I'm going to create a filter that I'm going to save. So I never have to do this filter again. And is what I always choose is status. I want incomplete. And then I want assigned to, and I want my tasks. And the due date, I skip all of this. These are called dynamic filters. Dynamic means it's going to move with the time. So next week, if I look at this next Monday, it's going to show the following week and it's going to keep moving forward. If you use custom range, those are locked dates and it won't dynamically change by when you're doing something. But my favorite one for this is if you scroll halfway down, I like to do all past dates, including today. So this is going to show everything that's past due and everything that's due today. And then I just hit submit. This is everything I need to do. Now, I'm going to delete this one because I'm going to show you how to save a filter again. So I have my filter belt. I'm going to just go save current filter under filter. And I'm going to name this John. I call it to do because I know what it is, but you can call it past due and today, whatever you want. Now I'm going to clear this filter just to show you. And I'm going to go to tasks, my tasks incomplete. Here it is. I'm just going to hover and say John to do. That's how I leave it all day long. So I can look through my tasks at any time. Now, this includes your today. And this is why I said that the red isn't necessarily bad because it could mean today. So what I like to do is when I'm scheduling a task, I always just put 0 here. So it's just going to show anytime today. I don't care if it shows red. I just know that's a today task. So I'm going to actually make this one today. What is today? 11:10. And I'm going to hit save.
What if you didn't do the filter? So you can go, because I've been doing the going up to task and income or due today, getting those knocked out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Do that. Yep.
So
That's
due
your
today
today's.
and
Yep.
work those and get them done, which I did yesterday. And then incomplete, I completed those. And then I had to go through leads that didn't have tasks. So, and change the steps and do all kinds of stuff to get their tasks
Yeah,
incomplete.
absolutely. These are pre-built filters and they're awesome.
Okay, so that is proper procedure to go to your due today, and that's where
It's
you're working
totally
today.
fine to do that.
Okay,
The only reason I personally do it like this, because my goal is to knock all this out.
right.
Because it is past due and today.
I
So I
don't,
consider this due all today. That's the only
yes.
reason I do it this way.
Want to, my goal is to knock out everything every day
Mhm.
that is due today. So I am never behind. I don't like
Beautiful.
that. I do not like that.
That's absolutely perfect. You're one of the shining stars, and that's awesome.
It just
Um,
is less stress. It's just
yeah,
less,
absolutely.
right. Yeah.
All right. So if you have something that looks like this, there are some todays and there are a lot of past due. So according to the conversation we had before, I'm going to sort this by due date so I
Mhm.
can see, oh, here's my one today and then all my past due. Now, the one thing about this, and we're specifically talking about if you have more than just today in here, um, is so let me find one. So agreement follow-up. So if I see this one right here and I just say, okay, I'm going to call them, there's number 4, and I'm just going to hit complete that I did that. The problem with doing that is sometimes you'll see a 4 here, but if they're out of order, there may still be a 1, 2, 3 before it, such as here. But if they're out of order, you may not see that, and you're calling with a number 4 call when really there's a bunch before. So is what I like to do is I like to see what I need to do here, and I go in and clean up matters as a whole. So I need to do this task. I'm going to open this matter, and then I'm going to go do this matter and whatever needs to be done. So Flugger butter.
Right.
Now I can see, oh, shoot, I only saw 4, number 4, but there is a bunch before.
Yep.
So these are 12 months, 10 months, or 9 months behind. I need to, let me explain this better. I like to do a reset. If I get this far behind, I'm not just going to write these people off. I'm going to do a reset and start at number 2. I may get a hard no instantly and say, oh my gosh, months ago we called somebody, but you're going to get that answer. They may say, oh, we've just been waiting for you to call. We're ready to go. Never write off a lead, no matter how far behind you are. If it's 2 years, it's okay. Reset it, call them and say, you know what? It's been a while. We just wanted to touch base. Never write off a lead. So as how I manage this is, of course, you can click on the task and you can change the date to make it today. On an individual task, that's okay. Is where that doesn't work is if you've set out a bunch of tasks that are automated in your system that are timed correctly with spaces between them. And number 2 is actually a bad example. Oh, no, this is correct. I thought that said January. So these are about 1 week apart each that you're going to touch base. You don't want to lose this spacing in this series. So is how you do that instead of one by one, changing the dates and remembering, okay, this one's 7 days after, 7 days after. Let's change this date. Okay, 7. That's just waste of time. If they're all messed up, you can hit edit mode. So edit mode allows you to edit these tasks right here like an Excel spreadsheet. So I can click on this and I can add C file note. Boom. And if I want to change the date of just one, I can do that. This still isn't best practice for series. And this applies to any system. Move things in groups. It doesn't matter what system you're in. So an action step is what I would do is I would select the series. So if there's 12 tasks here, only select your series, change due date.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can say set to a specific date. If you do that, it's going to change them all to one date. I want to adjust them. And this is a little trial and error when you're really far behind. So I say, okay, so August, and what are we in November? So I'm going to go August, September, October. So I'm going to say 30, 60, 90. I'm going to start with 90 days to get it closer, and then I can dial it in. You can see now it pushed them all up, but kept the series.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm really close. So it's going to be 10, 12 days more.
Yeah, I've
to
been
get
doing
to
this a
today.
lot. Yeah.
What's that?
I've been doing this a lot.
Beautiful. Then you're doing
Yeah.
it correctly.
Yeah.
So now if you look at this,
There you go.
you can see this one is due today. And now they're all set out to be the spacing correctly.
Right.
And then just keep up with them.
So now with this, because these are just emails, like what if I need to make a phone call? Like say that's going out on the 10th, I'd send an email out. So on Monday, shouldn't I be calling them and then
It
texting
depends
them,
what your
emailing?
task series is and what your follow-up process
Oh,
is.
okay. Okay.
So the best is what we always tell people for follow-up process. The best is, let's say this is an agreement follow-up, contact them to sign an agreement.
Mm-hmm.
So normally when you move them to agreement sent or whatever it is to follow up with them to sign their agreement,
Mm-hmm.
once the agreement is sent, we like to give them 2 to 3 days to think about and read their agreement. And sometimes they'll sign within that time. And then these start. So maybe in your process, it's email them here, SMS, call. It's just whatever your process is. Here, We just have it written up follow-up as a very generic way to do it. So whatever that would be, it might be an email, it might be a call, and these can be set up specific to whatever firm
Okay.
processes are. That's all it is.
Okay.
And then you just work through it. And then there's always a last one. And if you don't have these, put them in or let us know and we can build these into your systems. This is what we call a trigger task. It's telling you to do something if something hasn't happened. So let's say you make all these phone calls right here. They're all done. And now your task came up and it's going to say, did they sign the agreement? Because after the last follow-up, you still want to give them 7 days because from that voicemail you left them, they may still sign it. Pardon me.
Bless you.
And then we do things that say, did they sign it? Yes. Move to engaged step. No. Then move to not engaged. So this is triggering you to do something in a waiting period. After you make that last call, you don't want to just close it. They still may call, no matter what system you're in. And you want to give them a little buffer. Mind you, in 3 weeks, if they sign that agreement, you can always reopen a matter. It doesn't matter what system you're in. This just avoids doing that over and over and over. It's going to give you that buffer in there. Some systems handle this more automatically, where if they don't respond, the system will automatically close it. In actionstep, that's how this one works, is trigger tasks. And every matter should have a trigger task unless you're closing the matter. So that's how I feel is the absolute best way to stay on top of your tasks. In actionstep, they do have a quick overview. I never use this down here. To me, it's just a pile of nonsense. The only thing I do is I look at red and green.
That
Okay,
was
great.
when I was first trained on. I'm like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most systems have something like this where they have a quick glance.
Yeah.
But to
When
me, it's not a
Ray
working area.
Ray
The
showed me that.
working area to me is your list. Clio does this, Lawmatics does it, actionstep does it. You can get a full comprehensive list of what you need to do. But I always recommend working in the matter because then you can clean up that entire matter. So when I hit refresh, I'm going from 72 records.
Oh, okay.
And then it took out what's due today and what's in the past. Well, oh, I'm not running my filter. That's why. That's weird. It has December in there, Beth. I must have ran the filter wrong.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably.
I did.
Yeah,
Due
your due
date.
date's all.
So you should.
All past dates, including today.
So
Submit.
if I'm moving a step, the time on that step, I think, is what's making them red. Like,
Correct.
right? Okay. Because yeah, if I'm
Yeah.
moving it at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, would they not show up till 3? How does that?
No,
No,
if you have
no.
this
So
set
down,
to today, it'll show.
Okay.
The only thing
and
that
down here,
go ahead, Beth.
down here on the bottom where your task numbers are. So if you looked at that, if you had a task that was set for 3 o'clock and you looked at it at 1 o'clock, it would be in the green. If you looked at it at 4 o'clock, it would be in the red. That will move throughout the day. Don't worry about that. It's really, you're only really looking at the days themselves. You're not looking at times.
Okay.
The only time that time comes in is in some specific cases where you're really controlling somebody's workday and somebody needs help with that. Otherwise, no, it is just in the day.
I did have that come up yesterday and I missed it because I was working on other tasks because someone asked me to call them back in 2 hours and I missed that because I was in the middle and then I got a call and I missed that call. I'm like, oh no. So
okay, so I want to show you something to help you with that. Dawn, can you go into Flubber Butter? And then go to alerts.
Okay.
So if you call somebody and you need to call them back in 2 hours, it's really easy to go in here and create an alert. This is not a task. This is just a reminder.
Oh, okay.
And you can set the time up there.
I'm going to say
And
now,
yeah, you can,
but you can do it because I want the pop-up to happen.
yeah.
Actually, I'm going to put this
And
in 1
then,
minute. Sorry.
yeah, that's okay.
I needed this the other day. Yeah. Alert.
It
Okay.
won't let me. As soon as I hit submit, it's going to pop up.
Yeah. So then that will pop up on your screen for you to do something.
While I'm in my tasks, right?
No, just
No,
over the
no
top.
matter where you're at, it'll just pop up on your screen.
Oh, okay. So it'll be
That's
like,
the
hey, call
best
that
way
person.
to do that. Yes.
Awesome. Okay. I needed that. Yeah, a couple times
Mhm.
yesterday. I was like, oh man.
These
Okay.
are just triggers for you. Like, oh, I have an appointment in 15. These are not trackable. These are
Sure.
not reportable. So never use this as tasks. It's more just a quick flash for you to remember something.
Alert. You just called someone and you're just going to set up alert. Hey, call me back in 2 hours. I'm on lunch break. Okay. Well, then you just set that
Correct.
up for 2 hours from now, and then it'll pop up and it'll be like, oh, I got to call that guy. He's on lunch break or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Or another thing that
Yes.
we saw
Yep.
was the person who was at the front desk would prepare the conference room for the next meeting. So
Hmm.
they would put up quick alerts saying, set up conference room meeting in 10 minutes.
Okay. Okay.
That would be a good purpose for that. Another thing you can use this for is the attorney is supposed to call somebody at a very specific time. And maybe they have a task for it,
Mhm.
but you just want to remind them. So we're going to say call Flubberbutter. Whoops. There it is. See?
There it is.
That's what the alert looks like.
Oh,
And
so
then
you,
you can snooze it or dismiss it.
And once
And
you
I wait
dismiss
2
it, it's
days. That's
gone.
not what it was, but
once you dismiss it, and what you did was just go to all your
just
alerts
alerts.
Yep.
and you
Right in
searched.
alerts. Mhm.
And as soon as you dismiss it, they're gone.
So you just put call flutter butter and then,
Yeah. So let's say this is for the attorney and they say, will you remind me to call Flutterbutter in 1 hour?
uh-huh,
So put 1 hour
uh-huh.
and I would choose whoever. Let's say it's Beth. And I'm going to put a pop up, submit, boom. Now I don't have to worry about it. I may walk over there still, but it's
Oh,
going to pop up
okay.
on their screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are good uses for alerts. I don't know if Clio has this. I can't remember. But in Action Step, it absolutely does that.
Okay.
Let me go back to tasks. So again, I don't care what system you're in. I'm going to tell you from a CSC standpoint, it's better to dive yourself in and see everything you need to do and then divide up your day. And it's how I like to divide it. And you can do this in Clio, you can do it in Lawmatics, it doesn't matter. Is I sort by task name. So if you have automated tasks that the system is giving you,
Hmm.
I like to sort it by task name. So let's say right now I'm going to do the next hour of follow-ups. I scroll down to follow-ups and that's all I want to work on. So now I can get my brain there and I can open all of these that have follow-ups. So Donald Duck has a follow-up. Mickey Mouse, I already have, so I don't need to open him again. Albert Hinckley. All right, here's my next hour of work that I'm going to do. And I'm just going to go in here and say incomplete. Oh, some of these are erroring. And that's because we've messed up our system because this is our sandbox system. And I like to open this up now. I'm set for the next hour to work on follow-ups. The first thing I would do in the matter is clean up the tasks, get them up to date, assign them where they need to be. Let's get this matter pumping again. And then I do it for all my matters. And then I start my follow-ups. I come
Okay.
back here. I go refresh. This is cleaned up. What's the next thing I want to work on? Let's say I want to work on moving matters. Okay, there's
Hmm.
a bunch of them. So I'm
Right.
going to open all those and get those matters moved, clean up the tasks. And this is a really great way to attack your tasks in a
Can
methodical way.
can you go through that again? So you wanted to go work on all your move your step ones.
Yeah, let me close all this because I
I'm
had too much.
sorry.
Anyways, no, please, please, please. So no matter what system you're in,
Uh-huh.
um,
Say move your step because those are the ones that had appointments just recently.
yep. So all of these say move, but because I sorted alphabetically, they may still have follow-ups in them. I don't know. But if they say move, this is what I want to deal with. So I'm going to open all of these matters that say move something. I'm going to go into the matters. I'm going to go to the incomplete tasks. Whoops. We're going to get a couple of those.
Okay.
Incomplete. Okay, so let's say there was 2 of them. I'm going to come in here and this says update sales status, save sign matter, create substantive, and then move to closed. Okay, well, I need to do all this. And then I'm going to move it to closed because they're engaged. So let's say I did all that. I'm going to move to closed. And it's going to say I have to do this first. Well, I did that. So I'm going to hit complete. And it's going to say I have to clean up my tasks first. Close step and action step is the only one you have to complete the task before you can move it to closed. Otherwise, I would never say move to next step. I would never complete that until I've moved it to a next step. Then when I move it, then I would complete it. Because if you get a phone call, you may get distracted and forget to move it, even though you've completed the task. So always do the work, then complete. And then, so let me go ahead and complete these. And again, this is for any system. I'm going to complete these tasks. I did it. I'm going to move it to closed engaged, completed, engaged. Always get in the habit of making file notes, whatever system you're in, even if it's you just moved a step. Just get in the habit to writing what you did. Now I'm going to go back to my tasks. I'm at 69 records on the bottom for tasks. Refresh. I just cleared out 4 of them because I clicked one matter to work with moving steps. So that's why I like to pick a topic by sorting my tasks, because most of them will be labeled the same in series. Okay, I want to work on scheduled consultations. I'm going to go open these matters, clean up the well, this is all just one person. But I would do all my schedules. And then I want to go work on process these one-shots. Open the matters, clean up the tasks, and do what you need to do.
So you would just go sort it by task name and open all those matters.
That's how I do it. My brain works in groups. So if I want to do just follow-ups, I'm going to open those matters, clean up the tasks, and do the follow-ups.
Okay.
Back, refresh. I've cleared that out. Then go on to something else you want to work on. Emails. Okay, great. Same thing.
Okay.
To me, this is more of a way to see what you need to do,
Sure.
but
You're doing
always
the
go
same
in the
thing.
matter and work in the matter.
Okay. So you're sorting it, just so you understand. So you're sorting it by task name, and then you're opening all the matters that are associated with that same tasks and just.
Yep, that's what I do.
Okay. Got it.
You can absolutely sort by matter name. To me, this is a little useless. I would personally rather sort by task name and pick a group of a topic, open it, and then clean it up, because my brain says, I want to work on emails right now. I don't want to do emails and agreements and this. It messes up my brain.
Sure. You're going from one to another. Yeah.
Yep. So that's how I like to attack tasks. And if you have 500 tasks, this is an excellent way to get them cleaned up.
Okay.
So I'm going to say, it says, oh my gosh, look at all of these follow-ups. You know what? Take an hour, open every one of the follow-ups, clean the tasks up, get them up to date, restart the tasks because they're 8 years behind, hit refresh, and instantly, no matter what system in, this is going to drop, and now your tasks are accurate.
Okay.
Beth, do you have anything to add to this? And then I'll have you do a Lawmatics.
Not really, not in here.
All right, so I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to let you share Lawmatics, and we'll show you how it's in there.
Okay.
And again, this is pretty similar across, because it's more of a process than a system build type thing of how to manage tasks.
So in Lawmatics, there's 2 ways to see your tasks. One is your, of course, task list here, and you can search for yourself and who you want to see and all of that stuff. You can do the same thing in here. It's not as easy to bulk move stuff, but you can absolutely change those by just clicking the edit and changing those. Now, here's where that comes into play a little more, is the other way to do it. So like John said, if you can sort these by name, this will grab all of your follow-ups, stick them together. You go into each matter and do the exact same thing that he just did. The other ways to look at those is on your calendar. And this comes into a little more of your task management stuff. If I'm going to do follow-ups on 2 days a week. And so I just want to look at this, my task. I'm not doing appointments. I'm going to turn off my appointments, my events, my statute of limitations, and I'm only going to leave my task turned on because I just want to see my task. I can go in here and look at this. Okay, I have now this is obviously very skim. This is our test system. I have these 4 follow-ups to do this week. But I'm only going to do my follow-ups on Wednesdays and Fridays, because that's what I've set up my time template to do. Well, I need to move this one. Well, I'm not going to move this one to Friday, obviously, but it's very easy to look at it this way, especially if you're a more visual person, and just say, okay, I'm going to move this to Wednesday, so it's in with all the other ones, and there we go. Hey, John, I think I might have figured out my problem. Anyway. There we go. We're going to put it on Wednesday, so I have all my follow-ups together. And that's part of managing tasks. You just need to group things together, move them. It's a little more easier to do it in here in the calendars. You can also do it on here. It's just not as easy to do it that way. So that just makes it a little easier. But this works exactly the same way as what John was showing you in Action Step. You can sort by the name of the task and then just go into each matter. So if I was going into this matter and this matter and this matter, I'm going to open all of those individually and go in and look at the task in them. When they want to open, things are being a little slow today. It's Friday. Funny, I think they run faster during the week for some reason. But you can then go right in here and look at all of the tasks that are still in here to be completed for that matter. So you can just keep going and doing all of this stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to try to get you to open. And do exactly.
But that's similar to what we
just
did
showed
in
you.
Action Step, right, Beth?
Yep, it's exactly the same as what you did in Action Step.
And Clio is exactly the same. You pull your overall task list across the system, and then you go to the matters and work your tasks. Exactly the same.
Yep.
So that's more of just a process than a system function.
Correct.
Perfect. All right.
Okay.
So that's our demo. Go ahead, Beth. Oh, I thought you had something.
I was just going to ask if anybody had questions about anything.
And we'll open it up again in a minute because I do want to get onto your freebie for the week, and you're going to really like this freebie. This is a fun one. So I am going to stop your share, and I'm going to share. I'm also going to let you know when I say it's a fun one, I'm kind of a nerd with tech. So to me, it's fun. You may just be like, yeah, it'll help my job, but that doesn't look like fun to me. So if you would like help getting your matters under control, this absolutely has to do with task management. Set up a, oh shoot, Beth, will you put yours or my let's chat in the chat?
Sure.
So in here, I am going to pull up, where is matters without tasks?
It's not in there.
Oh, okay. Well, I can pull it here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to filter here, and I am going to say assign to all. let me just set this filter up and I'll show you what we will do for you. Where's the next task? Oh, this one doesn't even show the next task. Okay, let me just tell you what we'll do for you because it is good. Matters without a task are black holes. If a matter has no task in it and there's still an active any type of matter, nobody has direction to go back and clean up that matter and to work that matter, to work with the client, work with the attorney, whatever. So if you would like, the freebie this week is for you to schedule a let's chat with us. You can schedule it with Beth or myself, and we're not going to charge you for this. We will go in, whether you're Clio, Lawmatics, or actionstep, and because they may be a little different how the system is viewed, but is what we can do is we can specifically in actionstep, we'll upload tasks that say, this matter has no task, move to next step, clean up. That way you can start working through tasks. So let's say you have 600 matters with no tasks that aren't closed. They're active matters. We can shoot a task in there in one foul swoop that gives you a game plan forward with tasks to start plowing through and getting those matters up to date. Lawmatics will view how your system is set up because it may be a little different, or Clio. So those matters are no longer black holes. And if you're an attorney, this is a huge win. If you're a client service, you're going to have a huge win with your attorney by getting all of the black hole matters under control. And we just want to do this for you. This is your freebie for the week. So feel free to set up a let's chat with Beth or I. We'll look at your system and we'll get those matters that are black holes out of the black hole and back to an active status.
Okay.
All right, my cough is coming back, Beth, so I'm going to let you run Q&A.
And
Okay.
so,
Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
yeah, I had just gone to that no task thing yesterday. Because there were a lot of things that had came in and nothing no follow up at all. So, what's the best way to just go to my no tasks? Like, because I went to matters and I went to no tasks and I was like going through each and every one. Like, I just want to see the ones that are blank. That's all. I guess, do I need to schedule a chat then with that?
Yeah, so I'll pop that in your system before our call on Monday
Okay. Okay, that would be
and
good.
get you a nice little list. Yeah, get you a nice little list of that.
Yeah, instead of because I was going through and like seeing the blank ones.
Right.
And I
Yep.
was just trying to work through those. I'm like, okay, let me add those to my task. And they had to change steps and stuff like that to get them to add to my tasks.
Right, and that is what you're supposed to be doing. But we can get you some stuff in there to help to grab all of those for you.
Yep. And then you just
Okay.
work through it, make sure they never happen again.
Right. Going forward. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
All right. That works. I think that's everything. I just got to get with Ray and go over these tasks, what they're assigning. So,
Anybody else have any questions? This was a lot of information today.
yeah, thank you very much.
there's a whole lot.
There is. Yeah. I just want to make life easier.
I am going to get our website up this week. I apologize I didn't last week. But by the end of this coming up week, you should be able to go to ettingertech.com/open coaching hours, and all the recordings of these videos will be up for you to have.
Oh, okay.
That's
I also
awesome.
want to say
Looking
while
forward
you're,
to
oh,
that.
go ahead.
I was saying that's
But
awesome. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
it's going to be really helpful. You can backtrack. Also, go to our YouTube channel. Just go on YouTube and search Ettinger Tech.
Okay.
we have a lot of intake series on there, reporting series that just give you a lot of great information on how to do things and why to do things. Because sometimes we learn that people are doing things because they've always done it that way. And we say, always ask yourself why you're doing something. Are you doing it because it's always been done that way? Or are you doing it because it really is the best way for your firm? So our YouTube video covers a lot of that information to really drill down your efficiencies.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And I am going to throw out one more thing. Some of you work with Molly McGrath, some don't. I want to throw out her law firm admin boot camp. It is absolutely a game changer if you're not in it.
It is.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
If you're not in it, I think it's a monthly subscription now. You get access to hundreds of videos, and it goes beyond what we're talking about with technology. Hers is running a firm, owning your role. She brings in the best of the best speakers for referrals for all of this that have written books on it. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. And I think she does weekly open coaching as well that really delves into different topics. But if you want more information on that, shoot me an email. I put my email in the chat and I'll get you in contact with Molly. It is an absolute revolutionization for your firm, especially for client services to attend, to really get their feet on the ground of what is what within your role in a law firm, and empowering you to love your role, exceed at your role, and to empower the team.
And what was her name? Molly
It's Molly McGrath. If you shoot me an email, I'll send you an introduction email.
McGrath. Okay.
It is worth the monthly fee for it.
It truly is.
10 times over.
Yeah.
And some of it is just great life skills, getting your life in order to create this balance of I can go to work and I can go to home without thinking about work.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And she's really written the book on how to run a law firm. I mean, she is the best of the best of the best. So
Literally, she's written the book.
I think she's written tons. She just did one. She just released a new book, which I highly recommend. It's called Fix My Boss. It is worth the read. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on Apple Books, everywhere you can get it. It is worth the read. It's brand new. Came out. I think she did her tour in June for Fix My Boss.
Yeah.
So
Nice. Okay.
yeah. Any other questions?
Oh, I learned a couple things on this today. Thank you very much.
Good. All right. Well, we're going to let, oh, go ahead. Oh, okay. We're going to let you have your time back like we always do. Oh, no, we took a minute of your time.
Yeah, we did.
This was a great conversation today. Come back next week. We're here every week from 12 to 1 Eastern time. Same link every week. Invite other law firms. If you have some other client service friends, invite them. It's great information. And of course, we never charge for this. We're not going to do this the week of Thanksgiving. That's going to be Black Friday. So we're going to let you all just go have your shopping extravaganzas. So
we were talking last night that that's not near as much fun as it used to be.
It's really not. It's really not.
it used to be an event.
No, now it's just hell on wheels now. So it's not great.
Yeah, when you start seeing people die and trample in it,
Yeah.
I'm done.
Especially after working in retail and having to be a part of that. No.
Oh
No.
You know what? God bless your soul.
Yeah.
I've always said that the customer is always right is one of the most dangerous things that was ever invented.
God,
And
is
that
it
every
ever.
retail worker should get to match energy with a customer once a
If
day and unlimited
only,
on Black Fridays.
if only.
It would be
Well,
beautiful.
Well,
So
thanks guys
beautiful.
so
All right.
much.
You guys have an awesome,
I have a,
awesome weekend, and we'll see you here next week.
I have a quick,
Awesome.
quick
okay.
question. So if you're 12 to 1 every Friday, or well, 11 to 12 my time every Friday, is
Right.
there a Zoom link?
Same
It's
one
the
you
same
got it
one.
on.
Same one I got it on. Okay.
Every week it's the same.
Okay. Okay. I may have you resend that to me. Um, is that okay? And then I'm
Okay.
gonna copy it in
Sure.
my reoccurring schedule.
Yeah, absolutely.
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 Okay. Okay. I
Yep.
appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm sorry.
No,
Just
you're
That's
good.
okay.
all right.
Oh,
I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Beth and John. I appreciate that. And Beth, I look forward to talking to you Monday at 3:30.
All righty. Sounds good.
Okay.
I'll
And then
see you
that,
awesome.
then.
yeah. And then you're gonna do the report for me this week, right?
Yes, I'm going to run it. Yep, I'll run
Okay.
it this afternoon.
Okay.
So
And where
so
does
it's updated for your Monday morning.
okay, and does
Yep.
that get emailed to me or how does that?
No. Do you have access? Oh, okay. Everybody else was gone, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
Yeah. All right. I don't think you have access to it. I will get that for you. You will get 2 emails from me.
Okay.
One is an invite to our Azure, which is Microsoft's management of users. You have to be in that for me to allow you access to the Power BI report. So you'll get one email for that, and it won't do anything. It'll just, you'll click the button and it says you accept it. That's it. The second one will be a link to the actual report, and you'll be able then to open the report.
A link to the report. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
But I
And
thought
then
I thought I had set that up for you, but
that's
maybe
okay.
not.
Well, yeah, I haven't got that far yet.
Yeah, yeah. But I'll send those to you here in a little bit, so you'll get those 2 emails, and then you'll be able to open the report.
Open it. Okay. Okay. And then
Yeah,
just
'cause
give it to
that
them at,
has nothing. Yeah, that has nothing to do with updating it. And I believe they are looking at it on screen.
so I wouldn't have to bring it to the
Um,
meeting.
no, but double check with them.
Okay. Ask if I need to bring it
Yeah,
or if
yeah,
they look at it.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And you can, I mean, because you can print it out in a PDF and stuff. You can do that, but yeah, it's
Okay.
better if you look at it on the screen, because I'll go over that a little bit with you on Monday too, and show you, because you can drill in and get the underlying data. So it's better if you do it on the screen.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
All right.
All right. Well, have a good
Sounds
weekend
good.
and I will talk to you Monday.
Yeah. You too. I'll
All
see you
right, hon.
Monday.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.